All right. Hello, everybody.
Woo.
I really hope this is working, and I really hope that we are live right now. Um, First time trying this. I imagine there's going to be some kinks, but hopefully everything runs smoothly. My name's Dan.
Can only hope. Oh, I'm looking at our thing on the website. Looks like we are
We
live.
are
Look at
live.
that.
How about them apples? You know what?
Oh, we have two people watching. How neat.
Look at that. All right, I am going to tweet out the link real quick. Reese Davis was kind of doing the intro to the show there. But I do want to talk about before they get started, just kind of like what we're looking for. I think the biggest thing is, are they going to put Cincinnati at 4? Are they going to do it?
I am cautiously optimistic. I'm not feeling like 100% that they're going to do it, just because I truthfully like I've watched this happen over and
Yeah,
over and again. And they've had every chance to do it and they haven't. But I truthfully think that this is like the first time that I think that they have enough. Cincinnati, a group of 5 team, has enough support from at least some of the media to say, all right, this is getting ridiculous.
yeah.
Um,
It seems like my
at
camera is
least
frozen.
it does seem like your camera is frozen. That appears to be one of our kinks that we're running
First
into.
problem. All right, no worries. I'll get it fixed. Um, it's actually that my camera died, which is just great. But no worries.
Ah, your camera died. That makes sense.
We'll figure it out. All right,
Well,
so it looks like they're talking about
yeah.
Oregon right now. I wanted the only other thing I can think of is they're going to put Michigan up at 4 just to create the 3 versus 4 matchup this coming weekend and
Boost the ratings. I mean,
yeah.
is it a? It's not a ABC broadcast though, is it?
No, I think it's a big Fox game.
Yeah. So I don't think there. I mean,
There's no motivation on the ESPN
there's no
side.
motivation on the playoff committee's part
Yeah.
or on ESPN's part. All right, we got
We got the first rankings.
Arkansas. All right, I got my first rankings.
All right, I'm a little there it is. Okay, we're not too much delayed.
Okay, so we got Arkansas at 25, Houston at 24.
Okay, I wanted Clemson to be back in the rankings because they've looked a lot better over these past few weeks, and I think they deserve to be in these rankings. So I appreciate that.
Agreed. I do agree with you. I think that 23 spot is right. It makes a lot of sense. We then after Clemson at 23, we have 22 Houston and 21 San Diego State. I don't understand how they have San Diego State falling. They won their game this past weekend. I think that Houston probably should have. I would personally flip Clemson and Houston. That would be where I'm standing, just because they've won 10 games in a row and they're looking really good. UTSA, in my opinion, should be in that 15 to 20 spot.
Yeah, I just don't think that they don't respect UTSA enough at all.
They don't, and that's fine that they don't, but it's absurd. I mean, a team that wins 11 games should absolutely be in at least the top 20.
I feel like they should at least be in front of San Diego State. Like, what's like?
Yeah, I agree.
Why are you
I
putting
think that
San Diego State in front of UTSA?
I feel that they're a better team than San Diego State, truthfully. All right, I have the next 5.
Yep, same. Utah's powering up. They're up to 19 now. NC State stays put at 20. Wake Forest takes a big tumble down to 18. Pitt is at 17, and Iowa moves up to 16. I mean, we've harped on it pretty much every week now that we don't like this Iowa team, but they keep sneaking out wins against teams like Illinois and Northwestern.
What was the final score of that Illinois game?
I think it ended up being 33-22. My camera has freaking died again. This is fantastic.
Oh man, that is really we are having some true technical difficulties.
At least it's not a bad image. It's not frozen on a bad spot. But all right.
Yeah, you just kind of look derpy.
No worries. I live in derpiness. It's okay.
So no, I agree that I mean I get it. A 9-2 Iowa team in the Big Ten, but the thing is they haven't played the toughest of schedules.
No.
And so I just don't see what's the difference between Houston's schedule and Iowa's schedule?
Like, if you're telling me Pittsburgh and Iowa played right now, I'd probably take Pittsburgh in that game.
Yeah, I take Pittsburgh all day
I'd
because
probably take Wake Forest because I think
yeah,
Wake Forest's defense is really bad, but Iowa's offense is terrible. So I feel like Wake
yeah,
Forest could beat
I
them. I'd definitely take
completely agree.
Utah over Iowa. All right, the next 5 right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, I have the next five as well. We have Texas A&M up one at 15, Wisconsin up one at 14, BYU moving up one at 13. Michigan State is down 5 spots, which honestly, I thought they might fall farther.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that they're not in like that 15, 14. Even
I mean, I think that 12 is still appropriate, but man, that they had a real fall from grace. I think the team that probably should have fallen a lot farther was Oregon.
yeah,
But Oregon at 11, that's a drop.
yeah, that's a long like that's like we're not even going to be considering you for the playoff, even if the wildest
but
of
honestly, they shouldn't be
circumstances.
considered for the
No,
playoff. I don't even think they should have been in the top 4. So, like, if you ask me, like, they should have been in that 6-7 spot and having to work their way back into the playoff.
yeah, I
just
agree.
based off of that loss at Stanford, because great teams don't lose to bad teams. It's just like, I'm sorry.
And Stanford has turned out to be one of the worst teams in the country. Like they are truthfully bad.
Yeah, it's
I'm sorry. I'm like trying to figure out this camera thing and and talk and do this whole thing. So
no, you're good. It looks like your dad commented.
Oh yeah.
Your dad asked us, why is Arkansas in with 4 losses and not Purdue?
Because Arkansas is in the SEC.
That's exactly why.
It's literally the only reason.
It's such an absurd bias. Also, I think this committee values these teams that have like good losses. I think they see good losses as better than good wins, which just blows my mind.
Yeah.
Like they beat the number 3 and number 2 team in the country this year, and they're not ranked.
Yep.
And there's a team with the same record that hasn't beat those teams. Like, come on.
Granted, Michigan State's turned out to be kind of a flop, and
but they're still ranked in the top 15.
Yeah, yeah.
Where is Arkansas's marquee win?
Hello,
Texas A&M. Texas, they beat Texas. Oh wow, that's such a quality win.
Yeah.
All right, they're doing that dumb thing where I agree with your dad. Your dad is right. Purdue should be ranked. Purdue absolutely should be ranked over Arkansas. I like Arkansas. I think they should both be ranked. Let's remove Iowa.
Iowa, get the hell out of here.
Okay. So they've got Oklahoma at 10. That's up 3 spots. Honestly, that's moving. Okay. Ole Miss at 9. You got to feel pretty good if you're
Ole Miss
an Ole
has
Miss
kind of
fan.
been sneaky, like on that. Like they have their 2 losses, but like they haven't lost in a couple of weeks now. They've looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Had a big win over Texas A&M. So
yeah, I mean they're a dog though this weekend at Mississippi State.
Yeah, that's rivalry game though. I feel like
I get it.
At Mississippi
Wasn't Mississippi State ranked last week?
They were, and they were in their first initial rankings. They had them at like 16 or something ridiculous like that. But
yeah. I mean, did they fall? Must have fell out of the rankings. Did they lose? No, they won pretty convincingly.
Who did Mississippi State play?
I don't remember. Maybe they didn't play. Maybe that's why.
Did they play? Was it because I know pretty much every SEC team played some bum this week?
Yeah, they played. We barely play football state.
Yeah. Yeah.
And mollywopped them. All right.
We're just here for the paycheck.
So, yeah, exactly. We're just here for the paycheck.
Yep.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yep.
All right. So we got Oklahoma at 10, Ole Miss at 9, Baylor up 3 spots at 8.
Did Baylor jump
Oklahoma
Ole Miss?
State at 7.
Did Baylor jump Ole Miss? Was Ole Miss ahead of
Baylor? No. They both jumped 3 spots.
Okay.
Oklahoma State at 7. Okay, so Oklahoma State has to be feeling pretty good right now.
They gotta feel like if they win out, beat beat Oklahoma this week, and then I guess play Baylor or possibly still Oklahoma again in the national or in the conference championship. They got
If they beat Oklahoma, they play Baylor.
yeah, okay. So if they win out and then they have Baylor positioned as that would be a top 10 matchup, they might be positioning Oklahoma State as a potential. We're going to put Oklahoma State in over Cincinnati.
Yeah, they might be. I still think that if Alabama loses to Georgia by a score or more, I don't think Alabama is in.
I see. I'm at the point where I don't think if Alabama doesn't win that game, I don't think they're in. They've had too many games that like they haven't looked super impressive. Games.
Yeah. I agree. I think the piece that is like that these that the committee's giving them is that they're ranking teams that they've played.
Yeah.
That's they're trying to keep. For some reason, I don't understand it. Like, there's not that many SEC people on the committee. Like, I don't understand why they are just giving Alabama that benefit of the doubt. Just because they have been good doesn't mean they are good.
Yeah.
And granted, they are good. Don't get me wrong, but like,
I still think if you had to ask me if I'm putting 4 teams that I think are the best 4 teams, resume, everything involved, I still think at this point Alabama's one of the best 4 teams. But
that's fair.
I don't think they deserve it if they
lost
lose
to Texas A&M for me. Just really it disqualifies them a lot for me.
I mean, that's fair, and I do think a lot. Like I said, I think it lost to Georgia at in the SEC championship.
Ohio State at 2.
I'm not surprised by that.
I'm not either.
I think I texted that to you that they might put Ohio State above Alabama. Ohio State really has looked very impressive. Like,
I don't know. I have very little confidence that the committee is actually going to do what actually makes sense.
What makes sense is putting Cincinnati at 4 here.
Yes, and what makes sense was putting Ohio State at 2.
Yeah.
But I just didn't, for some reason, didn't feel that was necessarily going to happen. I think Alabama has to be at 3 here. Yep, at that 3 spot, down 1 spot.
So it's got to go in my mind: Cincinnati, Michigan, Notre Dame, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, that's where I'm sitting. Michigan won in a blowout, but it was to Maryland.
And I mean, the Michigan and Ohio State don't really matter because they play each other this week. And whoever wins,
whichever one is going to take the place of the other.
Yeah, and whoever wins that game's going to be heavily favored in the Big Ten championship. Probably going to win that, and they're going to be in the playoff. So,
wouldn't it be funny if Wisconsin won the Big Ten championship?
They put them in. They have Wisconsin up to like 12 now or 13.
Oh my god, that would be the funniest shit ever.
Wisconsin looked terrible the first 5 weeks
at the beginning of the season. Yeah, but also if you look at their losses, like they lost to Penn State, who's still a decent team. They lost to Notre Dame, and who's their other loss? They have 3 losses. And there's no way they make the playoffs, but like,
no, there's no way.
They don't have bad losses. Oh, wow.
They put Cincinnati. It hasn't put up for me yet.
Wow.
Cody, how happy are you right now?
I'm having a hard time finding words. Yeah.
Dreams have come true. I mean, not fully yet, but at least they're in the play. Like right now, if the playoff ended or if the season ended, they're in. At this point, they're saying that they control their own destiny. Win out, and you're in.
I don't agree. I do not agree for a couple reasons. Alabama took care of business against a top 25 team this week and moved down a spot.
Yeah.
I think that is signal, and they respect the SEC.
I think that's
they don't respect SMU.
I think that's more about how good Ohio State has looked more than Alabama. I think that
that's fair. But what if Michigan goes in and destroys people, and it's a close game against Ohio State? I still don't feel that Cincinnati controls their own destiny, but it feels better for sure.
Yeah. So it did finish out exactly like kind of we were thinking. Cincinnati 4, Michigan 5, Notre Dame 6. I don't know what to do with this Notre Dame team. I don't like they don't have a shot to make the playoff, right? Like there's no situation where they're making the playoff.
Yeah, there is a situation they make the playoffs.
What's the situation?
Michigan or Ohio State get beat by Wisconsin.
Okay, so
and Georgia blows out Alabama.
Okay, well, then does Oklahoma State
Because
have an
then-
What if Oklahoma State wins?
Yes, I mean, but then you're removing two of the top 4 teams, so you have 2 spots open,
Okay, fair.
and then you're also putting Cincinnati as a 2 seed,
Oh my god.
which would just be.
Do you think they would still just keep Cincinnati at 4? Like, no, we can't do it. We can't put them higher than 4.
I would, yeah, I would care to bet that.
I would not mind to see a Georgia Cincinnati rematch of the Peach Bowl last year. That was an entertaining game.
It is the rematch that I want to avoid
That's
in
fair.
the semifinals.
That's fair.
Like, my ideal situation is Michigan wins this weekend, and then Wisconsin wins on championship weekend, and Bama gets blown out by Georgia. So then Cincinnati, I mean, I feel like they'd have to put Cincinnati as the 2 seed, and so then you'd get I think you'd probably have Notre Dame at 3 and then Oklahoma State at 4.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Oklahoma State could even move up to that 3 spot and Notre Dame at 4.
I don't want to see Oklahoma State in the playoff. I do not want to see it.
Really?
I don't like watching.
They got a really good Oklahoma State.
They got a really good defense, but they're just their offense.
They're
is
like
so
watching
painful.
Wisconsin play football.
They are, and I don't want to like. Do you want to see Wisconsin in the playoff? No.
No.
Why would you want to see Oklahoma State in the playoff then?
Because I like Mike Gundy.
Okay, I don't know how you could say that.
I don't either. I think that it's a program that has an identity that I just like can relate to. It's the little brother mentality with having big brother Oklahoma in town. Like I root for them.
Fair enough.
I also like their colors. I think that they have cool colors. They're the Cowboys. Like, it's just the whole combination of things.
They do have some pretty nice uniforms. I love the black and orange combination. It's
just so solid. But no, I mean, there's still a lot of football that can be played, and I mean, don't get me wrong, Cincinnati could still lose a game.
So they got East Carolina this week at East Carolina, and then it'd be the AAC championship game against Houston, right?
Yeah, and last year, Cincinnati played Eastern Carolina, and I think Eastern Carolina is going to come into this game wanting to ruin Cincinnati's dreams, because last year the game ended pretty poorly.
Yeah.
I don't know if you watched that game.
That was the one that ended
or remember any part.
A field goal? Like a game-winning field goal?
No. Cincinnati, dismantled ECU.
It was 2 years ago when it ended on a field goal.
Yes, and also ECU, because of that, prior to last year, it was 2 field goal Cincinnati walk-off field goals 2 years in a row to win, and then last year Cincinnati just destroyed Eastern Carolina. The punter at one point, for Cincinnati, ran a play that.
He get yelled at?
It was just a scheduled. It was a scheduled play, and the punter basically ran a 15. It was 4th and 15, and ran for a first down, and after they were up 40 points.
Yeah.
And what's his? I think his name's Phil Montgomery. No, that's Tulsa's head coach. Yeah. I can't remember the name of Eastern Carolina's coach, but he laid into Luke Fickell about running up the score, and it's I remember thinking about it to myself, and it's well,
this might come back to bite
us. this might, well, one, it might come back to bite us, but also, like, if you can't keep up, like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It just,
be
when
better.
a coach complains about
Stop
someone
us.
running up the score on them, it's like, if you can't stop them,
Exactly.
and they pulled, the thing is, also, Cincinnati pulled their starters at the half. So it was second and third string guys from the half, and they just kept scoring. Like,
Yeah.
if you can't stop our freshmen,
at that point, it is on you. Like
exactly. And it was a shutout too. It was ECU didn't score a game, and I think the ECU can be feisty. That's the thing that
you've been kind of high, not high, but like you've said they're pretty good this year. They're feisty.
Yeah, they can play. Honestly, if I have to, like, truthfully say it, I think the reason that I think so highly of Eastern Carolina is because they were one of the premier teams in Conference USA before they joined the American, and like, they have a history of being good at football. They're in a football crazy area. I like an ECU to, like, a better funded App State. That's like really the potential that they have to be.
Yeah.
I think that they have that potential because they have a wild fan base.
Yeah.
A very active fan base as well. So, but not to, like, get too on.
Yeah, we kind of went on an ECU tangent. My dad does have a question that we could talk about, and then we can kind of wrap this up because the rankings are done. But he said, what if Oklahoma beats Oklahoma State easily this weekend? Then they would be back in if Ohio State, Michigan, and Alabama all lose, as we were talking about. Like, Michigan wins this weekend, beats Ohio State, and then loses in the Big Ten championship. Alabama loses in the SEC championship. I don't think there's any situation where Oklahoma comes back at this point. They were disrespecting them when they were undefeated. They were still at they had them. They wouldn't move them higher than 8th. And I think now that they have a loss, the Big 12's only hope for a bid into the playoffs is Oklahoma State, and that's still pretty far-fetched. So,
yeah, I tend to agree with you. I'm just kind of thinking, like, if we're looking at the top 4, who do we then put in at that 4 spot? If it's not Oklahoma, is it a 2-loss Alabama?
I think
is it a 2-loss non-Big Ten champion?
See, that's
is it Wisconsin?
I think it's not. I don't know if it's Wisconsin. I think it's the non-Big Ten champion, like Ohio State or
like that one year a while back when Penn State. I think of 2015 when Penn State won the conference championship, but wasn't the team selected. Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I mean, the committee has shown us that they're willing to do it. I don't like the 2-loss. 2-loss thing.
I like how we haven't had a 2-loss team make the playoffs yet, and I think that should be continued, and that should, as long as we have the 4-team playoff, if we have enough teams that only have 1 loss or only go undefeated, that a 2-loss team shouldn't be making this.
You know what? If that scenario, like your dad said, plays out, you know who should be the 4 spot?
Notre Dame.
No. Well, in that scenario, Notre Dame would be in the 3 spot.
Okay. Good point.
So you know who should be in the 4 spot?
Who?
The Roadrunners, UTSA.
We need to find a way to get what's the wacko crazy scenario where we can get UTSA into this 4-team playoff. Everybody loses. Like, even
God. I feel like we can do an entire episode on how we can. Oh my God.
Just figuring.
Like, everyone would have to lose. Georgia's plane would have to crash.
We need it. This is like the meme where it's like all the numbers appear and it's like I don't know. This is like a beautiful mind
exactly what you're talking about. Oh God,
it's some beautiful mind stuff. It would take a lot of scientists.
Let me see here.
We need to go contact MIT, figure this out. Harvard, get their best people on it.
I'm gonna pull this up.
Oh, the meme?
Oh God. No, I'm not. I'm actively trying to figure out how to get UTSA to play.
Oh, well, we don't need to do that right now.
I feel like college football should just. I feel like college football should orchestrate this. Like, we should just talk to all the teams in front of them and be like, hey, you're not going to win a championship anyways. UTSA, though.
See, I have a much more realistic way to reward UTSA on their outstanding season, and it's just a Heisman invite for their running back, Sincere McCormick, because he's one of the best running backs in the country, and he's had a great season. He's not the leading rusher, but he's a top 5 rusher in all of college football. I think it's just an invite to Sincere McCormick. That's at least realistic because he is one of the best running backs in the country. Their team is undefeated. I understand it's a Conference USA team.
Yeah,
Conference USA
I
player,
completely agree. But I think, I mean, at this point, whoever Ohio State's quarterback is probably would be my vote to win it. Even though I actually don't think he's the best player on their team, but he's a quarterback. And then I would have to have
Bryce Young,
Pittsburgh's quarterback.
Kenny Pickett.
And then I would put UTSA's running back. That would be the ultimate form of respect for this UTSA.
Yeah, I'm not
team.
saying he has to win the award. I just saying he
just needs to be in New York.
Exactly.
I agree. I completely agree.
Exactly.
Yeah. Sorry. But thank you to those that joined us this week.
Yeah.
We appreciate the comments and the feedback. It really kind of helps us spur along the conversation. We're actually probably right after this going to be recording our best bets and a couple other quick conversations. So be on the lookout for that. Like and subscribe this video. If you haven't already, we sure would appreciate it. It helps us out a lot. And our whole goal with this is to just develop more contacts and get have more conversations about this sport that we both really love. So
we're just doing this for
fun. Appreciate you. Yeah.
Love you guys. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all next time.
Love you.